This is Las Vegas Real Estate Now with local real estate expert Harvey Blankfeld.
Where we want to educate you about our market, empower you to make wise decisions, and help you engage with our expert contributors. So Danielle, I know that you've been sharing with everyone the last couple of weeks some of the neighborhoods we have in the Valley, and you have another one you want to talk about that you've been working with some buyers on. It's called Valley Vista, is that right?
Valley Vista, it's a newer master plan community in the north. It's just outside of Aliante.
Oh, so it's a master plan, okay.
Master planned.
And
there's a bunch of different little series. Prices start as low as $226,000, and you get a great house.
$226,000?
For 1216 square feet.
New home.
New home.
Wow.
And I think it's a great entry-level home.
You know, we've been talking for years about the idea that entry-level houses are hard to find in our valley, and that's great. A new builder building, entry-level homes recently, it's all resale. There's no builders building anything that
you can't find
price
that
range.
anywhere in the
in a
valley.
price range. Yeah.
Not price range.
So where is it? What part of the valley is it in?
It's north, kind of northeast of Aliante. So right off the 215
okay.
Aliante, you go north, and it's just a little east of it.
So
And they're still building. I think there's quite a bit of land they still need to build on. So
that's great. So it's up near the new VA hospital. It's up there, fairly close to that.
it's on the other side of the freeway. It's more
South.
north. Actually, it's right by the DMV.
Oh, okay.
Over there.
So south of
So it's northeast of the DMV.
Gotcha. Okay. Very nice. Okay. And so they started what? Did you say two?
226,000, and they go up.
Okay.
And there's like Mira Point, and Tuwaka is one of them. I might be saying the names wrong, but
Okay.
I think it's a great house, and
Yeah.
you low maintenance. Get your feet wet owning a home and not having to do the backyard or do the front yard. I mean, some of them are just patio homes. So
Yeah.
they do
Go
have
ahead.
amenities.
What's that?
They're building a big park.
Okay.
It's called like Majestic Park.
Okay.
And they have community pool. And so the community has a lot to offer besides just housing.
So it's a real master plan. It's not just a bunch of houses. Okay.
And it's by D.R. Horton.
That makes me want, like you said, it's a master plan, so I wonder how many HOAs they are. Do you remember at all how the HOAs were?
It's 51 or 53, but that's for two.
That's
One's
not bad.
19 and one's 31 a month.
So the combination of the two is $50-some.
That's a
and
great
no
number.
SID.
Yeah.
No SID?
Yeah.
That's a good number.
No SIDS. Excellent. I want to share the weekly stats with everybody. I'm going to bring it up on the screen right now. What we're doing is we're sharing with you guys the weekly stats. These are just single-family homes, and it's just in the last 7 days. So current available, we have 5,231. It's up 27, so it's basically the same. And we've seen it stay around this number the last 3 weeks. It was steadily going down, but it's kind of leveled off at this low 5,000 number. In the last 7 days, we put 881 homes in escrow. When I say we, I mean Danielle and I.
Carly, too.
And Carly, too. I'm sorry. Yeah, Carly. Yeah.
We wouldn't be breathing.
Yeah, no. No, that's in the entire multiple list system, 881 in the last 7 days. You saw that there were 698 that have closed in the last 7 days. That's up 180 from last week. 174 were withdrawn in the last 7 days, and that's a little high. That's a little bit higher than last week, up 20. The median sold price was $337,248. That's up about $2,000 from last week. But interesting, the median sold price per square foot was up a lot. Went up to $181. And as I look at that number, and the median price per square foot, so the median price stayed fairly close, went up a little bit, but the median price per square foot went up a lot. So what does that mean? That means that we're probably selling more homes in areas where the price per square foot's a little higher. You know, maybe some of the master plans we were just talking about. Maybe some more homes we're selling out in the Summerlin or Anthem or Mountain's Edge area. And we're seeing a little bit more around the perimeter of the valley, which is not unlikely. And that's oftentimes for a lot of buyers, that's the most desirable areas of the valley. So that may be part of it. The days on market went to 34, went up a couple. But that's been pretty low too. So what this says to me is that, you know, the inventory remains pretty low.
Still.
Yeah, still low. And
You said sales were up 184.
Closings, yeah.
Wouldn't you say that normally we'd see come October them start to dip and the days on market to go up? So it'd be interesting to see our days on market around October, November, December.
See, that's why I like Danielle. She knows that I always talk about the seasonality of real estate. You're right. You're absolutely right. There was an article in the paper this past week by Eli Siegel once again, and we had Eli on the show once. More Las Vegas homeowners months behind on mortgages. And this is Eli put this in the paper just this past week. It said Las Vegas sheriff homeowners who are months late on their mortgage shot higher in June, another sign of the pandemic's economic fallout. An estimated 5.3% of Las Vegas area homes were in serious delinquency at least 90 days. And then in June, and that's up from 1.74% in May. So that's a big jump. Nationally, an estimated 3.4% of mortgages were in serious delinquency in June, up from 1.5% the month before. So it went up all over the country, not just here. But further down in the article, it talks about overall the firm expects the serious delinquencies, especially to rise among lower income households, small business owners, and people who work in sectors like tourism. What are you talking? I mean, it's Las Vegas. And then he goes on to say, Las Vegas, whose casino-heavy economy is fueled by tourism, has suffered enormous job losses because of the health crisis. The local housing market was initially hit by turmoil, but sales quickly rebounded and prices have reached all-time highs. So he's talking about, look, we're seeing the market is vibrant, but there are people out there who are struggling. There's no question about it, and we've seen that. I think that lenders, for the most part, have been trying to work with everybody. And I've had a couple of clients call me, and they work with our lenders, and the lenders have been pretty cooperative for the most part. If you ask, you'll get help. They'll defer payments, they'll move them back, they'll hold off for you. So even if you're behind, see, I hope the people out there aren't just not paying. I hope they're talking to their lenders. If you talk to your lender, I think you're going to find out it's not going to be as bad.
Don't you think the timing is? I think that the banks are maybe more willing to work with them, unlike before. And then also, I wonder how many of those people, it'd be nice to see a percentage of how many of them have equity in their houses versus the financial crisis when it was 100% financing and multiple homes and they didn't have any equity. But now, many, many years later,
right,
they have equity, and that's an option, is to sell and hopefully cash out.
Right.
Right? Whereas before, maybe it wasn't.
I think that's a great point. I mean, if you're really in dire straits and you're not going to be able to get the income back to where it was for whatever reason, then sell it, get the money out, and take a half step back so you can take 2 steps forward later, and do that. Yes, that's a great point. I think that, for a lot of these people, it's a temporary problem, and that ideally we're seeing employment numbers improve every month. Ideally, jobs will come back, and they'll all be able to be back to full employment, and everybody will be able to work and make the money they were before, and pay their mortgages and get caught up. I hope that that's the case, but you're right. If it's not, if you don't see a light coming at the end of that tunnel there, then you may want to go ahead and just sell.
And I'm not trying to minimize the loss of jobs
and
how it's affected families.
Unfortunately, it's
but
a reality.
Luckily, we lived and worked through that, and it was sad because no equity, banks aren't willing to work with them. They're running out of choices. Maybe tried, all of these other options, and then the only thing to do was maybe walk away.
Yeah. At that point,
now there's more choices.
Yeah, and
more options.
Yeah, it doesn't. We're not getting to a point where we're having to deal with short sales. I mean, that's not the case, and you make a great point. And although we've heard rumblings of that, but in my mind, I'm not sure that banks are going to want to go that route again. I mean, I think that I'm hopeful that they want to keep the homeowners in the homes, and I think that's what the government's most worried about. When you talk about rent, they said there's 250,000 people in the valley who are behind on their rents and potentially evicted should the directives end. But then again, the federal government, the CDC, actually put out an edict this past week that basically said you can't evict anybody till the end of the year, till December 31st, and not for non-payment of rent and not for a lease running out. Please join us again next week as we keep you up to date on everything real estate here in Southern Nevada. Remember, send me any questions or ideas for next week's broadcast. Tune in every Thursday at 3. Also, please let your friends and family know to like our Facebook page and be reminded about our updates at LV Real Estate Radio. We'll catch you next week. Thanks again for joining us.